Hello and welcome to My Plan. You're speaking with Rebecca. How may I help you? Oh, that's right. We did need to talk about the selection criteria for the receptionist job. Yeah, that's right. Okay, let me just get straight down to it. Okay, so the first, selection point was whether I could contribute positively to a team or not. You know what? I think that I should tell you some of the adjectives that I get in my day to day life. I am someone with a lived disability. I have cerebral palsy, and a lot of the adjectives that I get from people that I've never even met in my life are words such as bubbly, such as shiny, such as kind, courteous, and someone who is a go getter, someone who will get out there and go after what they want and not let anything get them down. So I think that I can contribute positively to the team in that way. You know, they can look at me and think, oh, that poor girl, she's had her lot in life carved out for her. You know, she doesn't really have much going for her having a disability. But you know what? I want to break that stereotype. And that's why I think that I fit this selection criteria quite well. One of the other things that was in the selection criteria was the ability to work independently. Um, with that, I have worked as a high school teacher for a few years, and I needed to plan from the second those kids got on the bus at home to the second those kids shut their eyes at night. So there was times where I had to work outside of school a lot actually, and I needed a quiet workspace. I needed somewhere where I could complete my work to the highest standard and have those kids know what they're doing the next day, know what they're doing the next year, know what they're doing in their assessment tasks, know what they're doing when they get home. I had plans set out for, the year ahead. I had plans set out for the term ahead. I had plans set out for the day. So I think that I'm able to organize when it comes to like a planning task. I think I'm able to organize efficiently, and I think I'm able to prioritize, because that is basically what my life was about the whole time that I was a teacher. Like, you don't have time to go to the toilet, that's not a priority. You don't have time to eat, that's not a priority. Those kids are your priority. So that is that selection criteria right there. I also think that I have an excellent phone manner. I worked with Big W and I answered calls for the fitting rooms. So they were people that would ring in and they would want orders placed, or they were managers that would ring in and they would want to speak to managers in other departments from other stores. So I had to deal with those calls with courtesy, and I had to deal with those calls with professionalism, with empathy, with kindness, even if, I was being yelled at because someone was having a bad day and someone left a security tag on their clothes and they couldn't get them off and they had a party that night and it was all my fault. So I had to deal with all sorts of weird situations, and I think that I developed quite a good phone manner in terms of that job. So there was a point there that says ethical professionalism. Now, I wouldn't be able to be a teacher with a working with children check and a police check if I wasn't ethical. If I knew about things that were going on and I told my colleagues and my mates, I wouldn't have a job. So I think my ethics were quite good. My honesty was quite good. I mean, I didn't tell kids they were terrible at what they did, but I directed them on how to be better. And I think that my honesty, sometimes I was too honest, but I don't see that as a bad thing. There's also another selection criteria here about a quiet workplace. This is at the moment something I'm working on with my 5-year-old. It's sight words for kindy. We have set up workplaces wherever we can, and they are workplaces that do not get interrupted if something important is going on. Okay, computer skills. It's COVID-19. All everyone's doing is sitting on their computers on Facebook and TikTok. So, if I didn't have the computer skills to be able to complete this job, I wouldn't apply. There's also a dot point that says, do I have a current working with children and a police check? Yes, I've already said that I do. Social media proficiency, yeah, I think everyone does. If they don't, they're not doing their job. And I think that there's a point I wanted to touch on here with the understanding of the NDIS and the needs of those living with a disability. To be honest, I have to deal with the NDIS with having a disability. And not a lot of people understand the NDIS. Not a lot of people can tell you the ins and outs of the NDIS, because not a lot of people that work in the NDIS understand the criteria needed to be able to access the NDIS. And I found that out when I tried to apply for it myself. Okay, so I understand the NDIS to the point that the local area coordinators understand the NDIS, and I understand the NDIS in terms of getting the plans through, the writing of the plans in terms of what needs to be said in order to fit what criteria. And I think that at this point in time, especially having government jobs in the past, I think that it's sort of selection criteria that can be addressed on the job, as well as bringing knowledge to it that I already have obtained. Just want to make sure. Written word skills. I am an English teacher, so if you can listen to this, you can understand what I'm saying, you understand where my pauses are, and you understand where you understand my sentence structure. That is part of written English skills, as well as what you're doing right now is listening. So I taught those on the daily. I taught those to children who turned around at the end of the year and said, you made English my favorite subject. So if I've done it wrong, that's fine. I've done it wrong, and you're going to think that I have horrible skills, but I back myself 100% with that feedback, thinking that I have great skills. So I think for now, that's probably the end of my video. And I think that if there's anything that you need to come back at me and I guess clarify, please do so. I mean, I really am interested in this job, and it's something that I am passionate about. So please, if you can, give me a call, give me a go. Thanks, bye.